I've been in Las Vegas for about a week now, and unlike tournaments, cash has been going great. So I'm gonna try to keep that momentum going today. I'm gonna be playing a little 1-3 at the Bellagio with, funny enough, my poker coach. If you've seen me punt a little less recently, it's definitely because of him. So man, it would be a little bit too poetic if I was to punt to him now. But that's just not gonna happen. Let's see if my studying can pay off. We sit down, take our seats at the Bellagio, and right off the bat, my coach Jared is about being card dead. Brother, we've been here for 5 minutes. Yeah? Good, after 4 hands, that's a good idea, I agree. I think you've won a hand, so I actually will not even stand for that for a second. Oh, okay, sneak brag. I, on the other hand, have not, but that would all change with a small continuation bet. Okay, I have now won one. You're even. That was a small pot though, and I'm itching to play a big one. In the very first real hand that we play, we're dealt ace-10 offsuit in the big blind. Under the gun raises to $8, cutoff calls, and the button makes the call as well, before I bump it up to $35 in the big blind. In hindsight, I think this is a little small, but under the gun folds before the cutoff makes the call and then the button follows suit. The flop is queen 10-5 with 2 diamonds. Because I can get called by a lot of worse hands here, I bet $55, and only the cutoff makes the call before the button makes the fold. We go heads up to the turn now, which is the 4 of hearts. That's definitely a clean turn, but because of the fact that my opponent could have a queen here, and I think he would check back a flush draw, I choose to check out of position and evaluate what my opponent does, and he checks back. So we go to the river, which is the 7 of spades. I think about block betting here, but decide to give my opponent a little room to bluff, so I check it over and he bets $100. I pretty quickly make the call, and he shows king 6 of diamonds for a missed flush draw. If this hand is any indication, this is shaping up to be a pretty good game. Then the very next hand, I have ace-queen offsuit in the small blind. Under the gun raises to $10, and it folds to me in the small blind before I make it $40 to go. My opponent makes the call. We go heads up to a flop of 8-4 deuce with 2 diamonds, which shouldn't really interact that much with my opponent's under the gun range. So I continue betting here for $35, but my opponent makes the call. At this point, I'm kind of putting my opponent on an overpair, maybe like 9s or 10s. And if that's the case, he's going to absolutely hate the ace of clubs on the turn, but I love it. And if I'm going to bet with absolutely nothing on the flop, you think I'm gonna slow down when I get there on the turn? I bet $125 and he pretty quickly makes the call. The river is the 2 of hearts, changing absolutely nothing. So I go all in for $300, absolutely praying for a call, but he tank folds. 2 pots over $400 in 2 hands? I am liking this table. But in both of those hands, I've been looking for some value. A real sign of a good table is what your opponents do when you're bluffing. So in this next hand, when under the gun raises to $12 and Jared makes the call in under the gun 1, I make the call before the low jack does as well. Then something strange happens. The big blind throws out a black chip, which the dealer pushes to me, asking me to break it down. Oh, he raised?
What did you say?
It's pretty clear because of the 1 chip rule, which basically just means if you throw out 1 chip without verbalizing raise, it stands as a call, that the dealer and almost everybody else at this table thought that this was a call. After a brief discussion about what to do, the ruling stands and it's just a call. So we go 5 ways to a flop of king 10-3 rainbow. And if the pre-flop stuff wasn't confusing enough, now the big blind leads for $3.
What? Whoa, this is sick. I'm scared.
And then under the gun makes the call, but Jared's having absolutely none of it and he makes it $20. I get what Jared was trying to do, but in game, it didn't work at all. Whoa! Because the only person that folds is the low jack. If I'm behind, which I'm pretty sure I am at this point, the turn is an absolute dream for me. It's the 7 of spades. So now I have a flush draw as well. The big blind checks this time and so does under the gun, before Jared makes it $100 to go. I'm definitely not going anywhere just yet, so I make the call, and so does the big blind before under the gun now folds. Then the river comes a very interesting one. It's the 9 of clubs. Big blind checks once again, and then Jared checks. At this point, I'm putting the big blind on pocket queens or something like that, and I'm putting Jared on a weak king, neither of which I can beat. But believe it or not, this 9 actually does change things on the river. Not only does a straight get there, but a lot of 2 pairs improve, and I have a hand that's absolutely primed to rep either one of those things. So I go all in. I'm a little worried about either player getting sticky, but the big blind snap folds, and then Jared folds as well.
Show my two guys. Show my two guys. Show.
Oh, that's a bad fold, brother.
That's a good jam.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's a good jam.
Let's go! I've impressed the coach. And what's even better is that my table is able to be bluffed. That's huge and should set us up for hopefully a very profitable session. And it's kind of funny too because I don't even finish stacking up my chips from the last hand when I'm dealt ace 8 of diamonds. It folds to me in middle position and I make it $10 to go before Jared asks,
Yeah. Did I make them? You're such a bozo, I swear.
This time, the cutoff makes the call before the small blind raises to $25. Safe to say I'm pretty priced in here, so I make the call and the cutoff does as well, before we go 3 ways to a flop of king 9-4 with 2 diamonds. I think it's safe to say the small blind likes what he sees because he goes all in for just over $100, and I pretty quickly make the call before the cutoff folds and the small blind says,
Good luck, I have a draw.
I know you were just being nice to me.
No, I have a draw.
The turn is the queen of hearts, but the river is the jack of diamonds, making our flush.
No, good hat.
Nice hand.
Then I go on to win a very small pot before I drip some wisdom.
I have 3 pair.
I had 9, 7, 9.
You can't win hands if you fold 3, you know that, right? The coach becomes the coachee. Wait a minute.
Oh, you were yeah, that wasn't right.
The coachee becomes the coach.
Yes.
Wait. C O A C
Whoa.
H.
Okay, might seem random to keep the sign language bit in there, but I've really been trying to learn recently. Something you might not know about me is that I'm actively trying to learn a little bit of each language so that I can relate to more people at the poker table. And currently, I'm spending a lot of time on sign language. Yeah, it's definitely a work in process, but at this point, it's time to... In the next hand, I pick up everyone's favorite hand to fold pre-flop, pocket jacks. But instead of me folding, the exact opposite happens. I raise to $15 from early position, and it seems like everyone else is gonna fold, until it gets to Jared.
Give me action, brother.
I would never fold you.
Whoa. Fighting words. Should I triple barrel or what? What do you think?
For sure.
Sure?
Sure. It's your chance.
Okay. Jesus. What if I just have quads here? I just get queens back to back.
That'd be pretty sweet. That'd be good for you.
This is all I got for a triple barrel.
Hell? Okay, you win.
I hit the monster. Unfortunately, I don't think my bet size can get a lot bigger.
Yeah, when Jared's calling me as wide as he is pre-flop, and I flop everything, I think that's as much value as I can possibly get there. Poker is easy when you flop the world, but knowing what to do when you know your opponent is calling you super wide and you have a really marginal hand is more difficult. Jared raises to $10 from middle position before I make it $25 to go.
I can't fold.
Naturally. You have outs or what?
I don't know. Probably not.
Not anymore.
$20?
Make you holla.
So many dollars.
That's not enough dollars.
So many.
If I had known you would call, I was gonna make it bigger.
Wait, how much was your raise pre-flop? I'm trying to figure out how big this pot is. 20?
I'm not telling you, that's a secret sauce.
Was it like 25? Was it like...
Why did I tell you
yeah,
that?
like 90? Right now?
Good point. I should
Helping
bet.
you.
I should bet 45 then. Half pot.
Half pot?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
What do you need? Diamonds?
I'm not telling you. That's not how the game works.
Got it. So a diamond. Cool.
I check.
Okay, I'll check.
I have a queen.
That's good. Oh, you did have diamonds. You. God bless America.
I'm the best. I beat Abby.
Chat, clip that. Well, I was right about him having diamonds, but I didn't expect his diamonds to be also containing a queen. In the next hand that I play, Jared limps the button. Mind you, I pay this guy for coaching. I didn't know there was a limping strip. Anyway, I make it $20 in the small blind. The big blind calls, and then Jared calls as well. Brother, what?
Ooh, out of position, three-way.
Situation you find yourself in.
Frequently.
Anyway, the flop comes king, queen, 8. Before I bet $30, the button makes the fold, but Jared is undeterred and makes the call. Not really sure what his range looks like here. I really haven't seen him limp ever. But the turn comes the 4 of hearts, and because of that, I don't know how much more money he's gonna be willing to put in if I rep something super strong. So I deviate a little bit and check before Jared takes the bait and bets $80. That's obviously great, so I start to look at his stack.
Don't eye my
I'm
stack. You're
hella
not
eyeing that
allowed.
stack. 300 behind, huh?
In truth, what I'm looking for is whether or not I should jam now or let him jam the river. It looks like he's got about 250 behind, which I know he knows is the perfect jam size on the river. So I just make the call.
All right, I call.
The river comes the 3 of hearts. Before I check and pick up my calling chips super menacingly.
About a stack, Jared.
Let me figure out how much in chips I have.
Okay, I'll figure out how much I'm willing to call.
I think I can win sometimes. I check.
Anything. I was snapping too. I'm dead ass.
Oh,
that was
you can
that was
jack
not
it.
an
You
empty
were
stat.
Yeah, knew he was gonna be pretty wide there, but truthfully thought he might jam river. C'est la vie. At this point, after playing for only about an hour, I have 1,200 in my stack, which really means I'm off to an unbelievable start. That's literally 300 big blinds per hour. I'm absolutely crushing this game. And you know how I know? Because then this next hand happens and I do something I don't think I've ever done in the history of me playing poker. Jared raises to $20 and I re-raise to $60 before the big blind cold 4-bet jams to 220. Jared snap folds and I make the call.
Good luck, my friend.
I don't have much.
I have ace high right now.
I have 8. Was I ahead?
Yes.
But both of you?
Ace high. Ace high.
7.
Ace high.
Yeah, like I said, when have you ever seen a cold 4-bet in a 1-3 game be worse than like pocket jacks? And even more so, when have you ever seen ace queen offsuit be good in this spot? I'll take it though. However, when you're winning as many pots as I am, you're bound to lose some eventually. Like in this next hand, Jared convinces me to double straddle for the very first time all day. Basically, all this means is that he puts on the $6 straddle and I'm in the $12 straddle. Another way to explain this is that this pot is about to get big. The higher the straddle, the bigger the pre-flop raises. So after the small blind limps, I'm a bit surprised here to see Jared only make it 36. A 3x raise seems a little small with a limper and me next to act. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm perceiving this as pretty weak. So I 3-bet ace-3 offsuit to 115. Small blind insta folds and Jared thinks it over before jamming his last $286. Unfortunate, because now that means it's a little more likely he actually has a hand this time, but I'm priced in, so I make the call.
Good luck.
No.
I have the best hand right now for sure.
Do you have aces?
No. You don't have kings though.
I have a very good flop.
Really?
I win.
Oh man.
You can take your pick with that hand.
Oh, almost did.
Oh, you show me. What's the other one? No, the other one. No! Oh, I had the best hand the whole time.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is though, it's a massive pot for 1-3, but for $6, $12, we each only put in like 25 bigs. Anyway, it's the final hand of the night and I'm definitely feeling a bit upstuck after that one. So when Under the Gun raises to $10 and both the button and Jared make the call, I look down at ace-7 of hearts in the big blind before making it $60 to go. Under the Gun 1 folds, button folds, and Jared doesn't like to fold to me.
Okay, well, I'm just not gonna fold.
I know. I figured that much. I gotta get a rebate somehow though, you know what I mean?
Come on, me.
But truthfully, I'm fine with the call. I mean, after that little speech, I definitely have the best hand. And when the flop comes 10-jack-3 with 2 diamonds and a heart, this is not only favorable for my range, but I also have backdoors. Because of this, when he checks in the small blind, I continue betting for $50.
I'm just gonna do 50.
I do not fold.
I know you don't. Value bet.
That's another way to say he makes the call. Then the turn comes the king of diamonds and he checks it to me once again. So I'm left with a big decision point here. This card actually should favor my range and will make a lot of his pair type holdings really uncomfortable. So I bet the exact sizing that I would if I was really planning on going 3 streets with my hand. But he quickly ruins those plans by going all in for $450, which I can't call with ace high.
Sigh.
What'd you have?
Ace. Why do I always just play the biggest pots with you? Ridiculous.
At the end of the day though, I was in for 300 and out for 1100, which is a really solid day playing 1-3.
Okay guys, we were in for $300, out for, I don't know, we won 1200 though. We should have probably arguably won more, but apparently we made a bad call versus this guy, so on to the next session.